Hello and welcome to this week's episode. Today I am thrilled to welcome back Suzanne Noble for a bonus episode that builds upon last week's conversation with Victoria Tomlinson from Next Up. If you missed the episode, Next Up helps the over 50s and employers of people in that age bracket to transition to unretirement or a changing career in later life. Suzanne is a very energetic serial entrepreneur who's had a diverse career which has included PR for big entertainment brands, founding a TV company, creating a baby sling company, and launching money and time-saving apps, Frugl. I interviewed Suzanne for the podcast back in 2019 to talk about advantages of age, the social enterprise she's founded after attempting to join the London technology startup industry and realising she was the oldest person in the room. I'll put a link to that episode in the show notes. Suzanne is back to talk about one of her latest ventures, co-founding Startup School for Seniors. The aim of her latest non-for-profit organisation is to help the over 50s turn their business ideas into reality in just 8 weeks. In our conversation, Suzanne shares the story behind her idea, how Startup School for Seniors works, and real-life examples of people who have got their businesses' ideas off the ground as a result. Suzanne has such passion for helping bring out everyone's entrepreneurial spirit, which I'm sure you'll appreciate from our conversation. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I enjoyed my conversation with Suzanne. Welcome to the Retirement Cafe podcast, Suzanne Noble. In fact, Suzanne, I should say welcome back, of course.
Yes. Hello, Justin. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. Things are very, very busy and quite different from the last time we spoke. So
absolutely.
Nothing changes if it doesn't change, right?
No. So when we last chatted, we were talking all about the organization advantages for age and your website and everything that you're up to. So what are you up to now and what's happened in the interim? And for people who may not have listened to that episode, maybe you could just give a brief kind of synopsis of who you are and what you're passionate about.
Yeah, so I run a social enterprise with my co-founder, Mark, called Advantages of Age. And amongst the many things we do is we deliver a program called Startup School for Seniors. I suspect, if my memory serves me, that the last time we spoke, we were talking more about the organization itself, which is very much around positive aging, around helping people manifest the life that they desire in whatever way they desire. And we were doing and still do quite a lot of social activities on one side, but the pandemic really delivered the organization in a place that we never expected to be, which was around supporting those who perhaps are at risk of redundancy or have already lost their jobs as a result of the pandemic, to think about self-employment as a possible next move. And we had started doing that work back in 2017 in physical places, but clearly that wasn't going to be possible because of COVID. And funders who, if I'm really honest with you, weren't all that enthusiastic about that work when we first started. And it was very much on the back burner. A couple of years ago, suddenly saw the requirement based around the data that was coming through around the number of over 50s that were being impacted by the pandemic, especially around employment. And subsequently, they decided that organizations like ourselves and others that had been delivering in physical places might need some money to deliver things differently and do things online, which was something, I don't know if we spoke about it, but it was something that definitely was something I'd been trying to move the course online. I didn't have any money to do that. And a developer had been working with us part-time because he was also very enthusiastic about the idea. So the lockdown really got us moving finally, because we got some money and we were able to pilot the idea and we saw how successful it was. And subsequently, we're now in the 4th term of Startup School, and we are funded by local authorities, the GLA, some European money while it's still available. And yeah, it's all rocking, really.
Brilliant, brilliant. So for those who aren't familiar with Startup School for Seniors, tell me, what is it?
Yeah, so it's a learning program that is around, really it's around helping people take their first steps towards whatever idea. Could be a hobby, could be something that they've done as a fully paid up, as a full-time employee, and now thinking about going freelance, to think about how and what they're going to do to make that a reality. So we take them through everything from where do business ideas come from? What is this about for you? Because it's so different at this age for so many people. I don't know your particular circumstances, but I suspect there's a lot of people working in finance and wealth management that perhaps used to be working for a bigger company before and are now thinking about doing that on a freelance basis or on a consultancy basis because they don't want all that, commuting or whatever else is involved with being a full-time employee. For other people, it's just about putting food on the table. Lots of people that are over 50 have got caring responsibilities. So they're looking at what are their career options that are flexible, that take their their requirements for looking after, if it's an elderly parent or maybe they've still got a kid at home, into account. So we take them through all of that. Then we go through things like finding your first customers, using social media, some of the legal requirements of starting up a business or being a sole trader, which is what most people choose to do to start with. The different types of way you can take money. And then the final output is that we ask people completely voluntarily if they'll create a video about their business in 3 minutes or less. And for them, that could be the first time they've ever used, video, ever made a video using their phone, using their computer, articulating their business to people that aren't their family or their friends, who perhaps have been hearing about this thing that they've been keeping on the shelf for years, right? They're finally, okay, I'm putting it out into the world. So yeah, so they make a little video, and that's what is our final week's output. We are piloting in November a 2-week version of the program. Previously, it's been 8 weeks, but we are running, we run on term time. So it's January to March, May to June, May to July, and then September to November.
How many hours do people commit to the course? Is that all week, or is that a certain amount of hours per week?
No, we deliver it all through pre-recorded videos. So Mark and I have made over 25 hours of pre-recorded videos, which nearly killed us. And
wow, yeah.
And during the beginning of lockdown. And so it's about 2.5 hours of commitment time from them a week. Then they've got suggested activities, AKA homework. And it's really up to them how much or how little they want to do. For some of them, it may just be about rebuilding their confidence. And then we meet every Thursday evening to talk about over Zoom, to talk about that week's theme, to try some of the stuff that we've suggested in breakout rooms, and really to, again, embed some of that learning with the participants who may not fully appreciate the importance of, say, why you need to know exactly who your customer is, right? And the amount of wasted time you can spend if you're going after people who are never, ever going to buy from you, right?
Sure. And what kind of people are attracted to the course, or maybe some of the success stories of people who've come through?
It's incredibly varied. It's everyone from people that have got PhDs to those who have got 2 O levels or less. People who are still in work but are thinking about their next move, to people who have been long-term unemployed. And it's really the diversity of the group that actually is one of the reasons why we suspect the course is really catching on and really working for people, because they see people around them that potentially are people that they admire or people that they think are doing amazing things. Maybe they're a little bit further ahead than they are. And then other people see that there are people that they can support and help with some of their experience, some of their work experience or their lived experience. So we get a lot of skill sharing with people who've said, oh, I've been working in branding for years and you need help with your branding, I can help you with that. Or, oh, you need help with your website. I've been working in user experience with websites for years. I can support you with that. Or, so there's a lot of support that goes on within the group, mainly because it is so varied.
Yeah. And which type of businesses have particularly inspired you?
We have a few people that I'm really proud of. One is a woman who was working in user experience with big clients, helping corporates to understand and improve their user experience for their website users. She's now a hat maker. So she makes vintage knitted hats, or she commissions people to make these hats out of vintage patterns, knitted, which are just beautiful. I just love them. We have another guy who was made redundant after 16 years in a job, very depressed about that, who's now set up his personal training business, and he's been offered some space by the local council. He's amazing. We've got a woman who is still employed, but she's working on a proposition which is about improving diversity and inclusion for SMEs. So helping SMEs to understand where diversity and inclusion plays a role in their business. And it could be how people perceive your website, how you engage with your customers, all sorts of things. She's amazing. And yeah, so we've got designer makers. We've got a woman on our current course who's 75 years old, and she's making chutneys. She's an Asian woman, and she's developed her own chutney recipes, which are vegan, organic, amazing. So she wants to do small batch cooking and sell those, probably locally, maybe in a local market. We've got people who are more consultancy based. So we've got one guy who's trying to nail down his customers around people who are looking at career transitions. So at any age, but mainly people who are 40 plus and thinking about career transitions and trying to help them with that. So yeah, it's super, super varied group of people.
Wow, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Suzanne, where do people find out more about the course?
Well, they go to startupschoolforseniors.com and they'll find out all about it there. We are funded to deliver it for free. So it's a free course. So, wow. And so anybody who signs up and registers now will get notified about both the intensive program that we're going to run soon and the longer program that we're going to run in the new year. And yeah, they can just sign up. They don't have to be unemployed for the January program. They can be in work. And really the only requirement is that I think it's over 19, but we obviously prefer if people are older, but we do get people as young as 35, 36, and resident in the UK for 3 or more years. Brilliant.
That's that's an amazing resource, and obviously creating quite a community there of people to support and inspire each other. So yeah, that sounds a fantastic initiative. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just taken off, and I suspect, you just don't know what's going to come out of things like the pandemic. In some cases, it's been not so great for some people, but in our case, it has helped us in terms of highlighting the need for what we do and also attracting people to us. So we had an article in the Telegraph a couple of weeks ago, and we've had nearly 400 inquiries. So it's pretty amazing.
Brilliant. Yeah. And of course, you've got quite a background, haven't you, of being a serial entrepreneur yourself. And I know that I know you're not shy on telling anyone that you've recently turned 60. And you're still launching businesses and initiatives.
Yeah, I just can't stop myself, really. I can't stop myself. I think, well, I suspect one of the big advantages or disadvantages, depending on if you have a brain like mine, which keeps spotting problems and things that need to be solved and going, oh, I can do that. Let's do that. Is that technology now has become so easy to use to get things, to get ideas off the ground and test ideas that, and that's really exciting because it means that it's democratizing people being able to turn ideas into a reality. And when I first started working with the internet, which was back to just over 20 years ago, well, more than 20 years ago, in 1996, the PR agency I was running, we created a website. So that was however long ago, quite a long time ago. Back then it was expensive to build a website, and now, I'm building something at the moment that I'm quite excited about, but I'm not going to talk about, that is just using this no-code technology that's become really popular and does all sorts of amazing things, just amazing. So yeah, it's made it really fun because you can just try things out and go, oh, does anybody think this is interesting? Let's try it out. Let's see. If nobody does, then you just shut it down. It's no big deal.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we'll put all those great links in the show notes, and people can get in touch. How can they get in touch with you?
The best way is to contact me at Suzanne at advantagesofage.com.
Brilliant. Well, we'll put that link in, and highly recommend people, if they're thinking about entrepreneurial journey, and they're senior, whatever that means, get involved in the startup school. And I thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thanks. And that's entrepreneurial with a small e.
Okay.
Or smallish e. Sometimes people don't want to, they just want to do something, like I said, to put food on the table. So don't get scared by the big E word. We're just here to support you to start a business.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time. Thanks once again to Suzanne Noble for chatting to me today about her exciting new venture. To find out more about Startup School for Seniors, head over to the show notes on our website at theretirementcafe.co.uk, where you'll find some useful links, including a link to our previous conversation about the advantages of age and other related episodes. As ever, if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and be sure to subscribe either on your website or your preferred podcast player so you don't miss an episode. If you prefer to watch my conversations, I record all my interviews and post them on my YouTube channel, which is Justin King MFP. You'll also find a whole series of other videos to help you plan for and live a successful retirement. For now, I'm Justin King, helping you feel more informed in your retirement.